Gasoline.
We're going to Rowland Heights first to have lunch. It's already 3. It's been one of those days. And then afterwards go to Cal Poly for a lecture. That's about it. It's gonna be a long day. So that's how you do it. You suction cup the gas prices and then you make it really, really high. May, are you okay?
They should make digital ones so we could just change it inside.
That's true. Oh, it fell. Uh-oh.
See? It would never happen with digital.
What a complainer.
Hey, I think smarter. What do you use?
Ransom money.
Because I got,
This is not the lecture at Cal Poly Pomona.
This is what I'm wearing to the lecture.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense. A+. A+ for BS. Donna, infect your brain with Muse. We're here. You probably can't see anything, so what a waste of a view. It's a nice view, though. I need to pee. Those are not glasses.
Yes,
take
they
them
are.
off. Mayne. And there's where the presentation's gonna be. Who's Thom Mayne?
Recipient of the Neutra Prize, Thom Mayne.
While I'm hooking things up here, I have a much better relationship with horses at the present moment. It was the beginning of my,
That's it.
I was 27 years old. Right out of school, I'd worked for Rowland, as was mentioned. I worked for a guy named Roland Coe, very, very good architect, not many people know. And had no idea what architecture was. I was a student of architecture, teaching architecture, and I was with a person I'd met a year earlier, a guy named Jim Stafford, who also was fired with us. And we had just an incredible year with just an amazing group of students here doing the most experimental work. And I think back, I can't teach like that today. I have too many obligations because we were here we were here 5-6 days a week. We'd stay till midnight, and when a professor stays till midnight, your students can't leave. Because Jim and I used to teach, we'd go to the car and just sit there for a few minutes, and we'd go screaming out of the place. But we had this kind of huge energy. Looking at, say, Ray Campy, who was also an instructor of mine, and who was, of course, one of the people that was in this place and started SciArt. There was no question what an architect was, and the trajectory of an architect. He developed as a young man, and he kept developing his work, and it was developed based on a continuity of a language that he claimed was his language, right? And it was definitely connected to the characters that came before him. So Neutra comes in, Schindler comes into play, etc., etc. And that was architecture. Well, that's what changed in the 60s. That paradigm was completely broken. There was no longer an interest or even a possibility of developing a singular language. That we understood that as we move from place to place, from country to country, as the environment shifted, that one responded to the idiosyncratic, to the specific nature of that place, that time, the situation, etc. And so the notion was to find a particular strategy, approach, tactic that connected to that specificity. So we have this building, and again, we're trying to find the architecture. We're breaking down the institutional nature of it, and it's low budget, simple project in terms of the mass that was kind of given by the site. And you're looking at the breaking, and we're making it we're attacking the institutional nature of the building, let's say, for a group of people, astrophysicists, most of them Nobel people, that expect a certain level of individualization in their environment, but weren't in control of producing the environment that was produced by the university, which is another classic kind of case. And then out of that came this kind of very, very simple orthogonal building, which is breaking, and it's breaking by the forces of force lines, which is what they do. They study atomic behavior. And The only time I did this, I was in junior high school. I was making a cloud chamber for a science fair, and I was watching the tracking of atomic matter. And we used it as an idea of their interest in force lines, which do not operate within. Oh, thank you so much. Wow. That's a 3 hour. Don't worry, Blythe. And it's my suspicion that this is going to have a direct link to our Rubin work. Thank you so much.
As time goes.
The answer would be no, but with caveats. When you're working with it, if you're trying to challenge a prioriness, you think of something, you conceive it, and you produce model, drawing, etc. The way architecture works is the beginning of time. If you're challenging that, and you're looking for the breaking down of that a prioriness, well, it started with art, probably the clearest with the Jackson Pollock. Is he true paint? Well, if you look at there at the Guggenheim in Venice, you can see that true paintings, there he looks like they were throwing paint, but he's actually, the paintbrush was touching the easel, and then the next two, where he threw the paint, they're amazingly similar. When he threw the paint, that was an amazing kind of act of painting that challenged everybody, because he was challenging the most basic notion of the facility of a painter and the control of a painter as he puts an image on canvas. And but when you look at number 15, is it still doing what he says it did? And you would probably question that its characteristics and its beauty, and in terms of climate, its reality in terms of temperature. And you don't have any idea where the project's going, I have to say. But as you've done it longer, you have huge amount of baggage that in fact is a priori. And it shows up. There's similarities that show up that have to do with, I see them as more, well, it's complicated, both constraints and also allows you to sophisticate things in a certain way, because you can't ask questions about everything. There are too many things on the board. What it does is it binds you to an incredibly simplistic organizational idea, one that you can maintain a huge amount of complexity that takes place in modern society as the building scale increases and the building complexity increases, and we need those techniques. And the notion of intuition, or the notion of being a singular, being able to control, and I mentioned maybe it's just preposterous today, not possible. Or it forces you into a radically simplistic view of architecture, which of course is what takes place. You continue to see architecture that's simplified to accommodate the creator.